What do you know about Gonzo's Quest?
I know that I played it a lot back in the day, but now very, very, very long time ago.
We are proud to announce that Gonzo's Quest has won Slot Legacy Title of the Year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is interesting, that there isn't a award for something like that. But I think it's kind of cool to see what they actually come up with then. And I've learned, Carl, and I hope you're sitting down, but I've learned that casino affiliate websites, they do not adhere the highest level of journalism. Like I found outright lies on casino affiliate websites. Can you believe it?
But this can't have been on the internet, right? There's no lies
on the internet. Yes.
On the internet. Wow.
I know, insane. So really one of the lies. What is the first cascading slot, or just what are like some of the oldest cascading slots? Would you say? Do you know? I mean, again, this is way from before your time, but maybe you know.
Yeah, no, I know there were some ones before that. I think when what was that? It was the one that Nick Robinson made, like a Reactoons type slot before Reactoons. That was quite old. I mean, for me, one of the first cascadings is Gonzo's Quest, but then again, I came into the whole space when it was already released, basically.
Yeah, because so, I mean, there's stuff here that I'm reading about, and I saw this YouTube clip as well. Gonzo's Quest game brought the cascading reels feature to our attention through the avalanche features, blah blah blah. Cascading reels originally came from NetEnt. Not true. This game was the first ever slot to replace the traditional reel spin with the avalanche feature. No, it was not. Origin of cascading reels, 2009, which is also wrong. Like the funny thing is, Gonzo was launched in 2010. So March 2010. That's the original date. I actually remembered it to be December 2009, but it's actually March 2010 when I look at the annual reports that NetEnt puts out themselves. On the NetEnt website, it says that it's from 2011, which is also wrong. So the affiliates are wrong, NetEnt is wrong, but thank God we are here to actually spread truth.
Right.
But because I was back then, I was the head of casino at Unibet. We were the biggest customer to NetEnt, so we had a lot of discussions with them about their product roadmap. And Gonzo, that was a deliberate, or that was just a copy of another game. They basically took the concept of cascading reels from IGT and WMS, and they called it Avalanche, and they made a game like that. So one of the earlier games that was out there is Da Vinci Diamonds. So Da Vinci Diamonds from IGT has that kind of concept of where the reels cascade in. This one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a new version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's YouTube footage from like 2008 on Attack from the Planet Moolah or Planet Moolah, whatever. Aliens trying to steal cows, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Which is the same kind of cascading principle. So I feel that I need to interject here. I feel that I didn't give the proper recognition to NetEnt for what they actually did really good with Gonzo. So back in the day when NetEnt was gonna make Gonzo, they looked at the other games that were using avalanche or cascading, and then figured, you know what, this is really cool, but it's also not so fun. It could be made a lot better. And what NetEnt did, which was really good, is that they came up with this multiplier feature at the top right. So whenever you get additional wins, they actually get more exciting because of the multiplier, which was one of the big problems that the original Avalanche games or the original cascading games had, is that you did get a cascading, but ultimately the payoff wasn't really fantastic. The best you could actually hope for in terms of entertainment was just to get your third scatter, if you already had 2 scatters in play. So adding the multiplier definitely increased the appeal for cascading games. Innovating on other people's concepts is quite common within the slot space. Another example is Big Bad Wolf, where we looked at Gonzo's Quest and felt like, the multiplying effect is cool and exciting, but it doesn't really happen all that often, so you don't really get to experience it. So what we try to solve with Big Bad Wolf in the Avalanche space is, rather than working with multipliers, we worked with turning symbols wild, which would then increase your odds of getting subsequent cascading features, which is just another way of making cascading a little bit more interesting. So no, Gonzo's Quest is not the first Avalanche game. Well, they are the first Avalanche game because they call it Avalanche, but it was cascading, and that was done by WMS.
Was it the first online? Was the first online game to have?
That probably, yes. Yeah, because I think Da Vinci Diamonds was actually launched 2009 online, but at a very limited reach. But it was definitely the first popular game, especially in the European market, because NetEnt dominated that European sportsbook market with all the casinos.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, Gonzo's was their first experience with cascading reels.
Yeah.
But still. And then I hope that you don't take for granted everything you read on casino affiliate websites anymore, Carl.
I mean, I did up until this point, but never again.
No, exactly. So I'm happy to, contribute there. Make the world a better place. I don't understand why people would still have it as such a high-ranked game in their casino lobbies. I think it definitely is not worthy of that place anymore. And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You put it high on top of the list, and of course people are going to play it, and people are going to look at the list and say, like, this game is performing well. There's so many people clicking on this.
Yeah. But this is where I feel like, still, despite all the talk of categories and things, I still think that there's a lot of lackluster categories in the casino lobbies. Like, I mean, this is the kind of thing that I would stick in a, legacy, greatest legacy games or whatever category, which is not at all at the top, but it's something you can scroll down to. Because the thing is, you don't need to promote Gonzo either. Like, all the big fans of Gonzo, or like all the fans that just want to go back to good old Gonzo, like they're gonna find it anyways. You can search, like they're never gonna forget the name Gonzo's Quest, so they're still gonna search it up. Or you could have like a category way down where it's like this is all the oldies and goldies, and you just put all them there, and then you allow yourself to promote new stuff. And
I think that's a fantastic idea. A legacy slot category on a casino lobby. Exactly. That's great.
And there you can just gorge on all the good old, goldies that you can find.
Basically,
all your favorites.
The greatest hits of every single year, basically. So this would be 2010, and then you would have a Starburst in there, 2011, and then you have some of these microgaming titles from back in the day that were really good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't have to clutter your actual lobby with old stuff. You can just focus on the new and then kind of make sure that people understand that all the legacy good slots are in another category.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep that in mind when I start my next casino business, Carl. Thank you for the tip.
Yeah. But it's honestly, I think it's so weird that there's not more variability as well in the lobbies that we see, because I think there's so much like you see the same games over and over. Even if you just go there today and throughout your session, you will still see the same game tiles. Even though you made a conscious decision not to click on them the first time. But you still get to see them throughout your whole session, throughout your whole week, or whatever. Whereas in reality, I think it would be much better to sort of continually randomize them. Or, not just purely randomize, but, show different things. So that
my biggest issue with casino lobbies is that there's just too many games, and specific players like specific games, but there is absolutely zero type of hand-holding by the casino itself to make you try out the games that you would like. They just want you to try out the games that on a whole perform well or are new. But if I'm just a sucker for cascading games, I should be able to be directed to a full portfolio of cascading games. Like, you as a casino, that's the type of game that I like. But there's very little effort being done in the industry to be that granular about it.
And also just like create your player types. If you can't identify them on your own, just try different things, because it might be that like So you could have like a cascading genre, and maybe it's not at the top of your list every time because maybe you don't want to constantly promote cascading games, but maybe it's something that can come in sometimes. So like, you know, every time you kind of go into the casino or you sort of go back from a game, you get some random categories, and these categories are just like, they might have something in common, but it's not exactly the same things that are in common every single time. It's not like a perfect catalog and archive. So it might be like, oh, here's a couple of cascading games, you know, knock yourselves out. Here's a couple of dark games, you know, they don't have anything to do with the mechanics of each other, but they're just dark and bloody. Here's a couple of really high potential games. Here's a couple of progressive sort of stateful games, soft games, whatever.
Yeah.
But so like every time you go in, you might see like, oh, that's kind of game genre that I could maybe enjoy. I'm going to try a few of those and maybe become a fan of that kind of thing.
Yeah, true. I mean, I like it more on the I don't like the creating a lobby around the actual aesthetics of it all. I would like to, for example, with Shinobi, you know, that specific type of bonus round is something that you can find across different games in different variations. Exactly. And that you would have a specific category for just, you know, that type of bonus round as a category. You know, that would be really fun.